Hey everybody, welcome to Mystic Journeys with HB, Derek, and Nerdy. How's everyone today?
Doing good. Doing
Cool, cool,
Very well.
cool.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Heard you got a bunch of stuff going on, Nerdy. You want to let everybody know while we're getting the show started?
uh well, not it's nothing official to announce yet. I'm
It's
just
kind of what you were just
working.
talking about on the last show,
The last show.
or not the last show, but oh yeah, I guess technically the last show. Yeah, on Monday. You were talking about this.
Can you be more specific?
You, you were talking about getting your qualifications.
Oh yeah,
with-
yeah. I'm working on it still.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've written my letter. I haven't submitted it yet, but I'm still in the process getting my letter of recommendation from a recognized mycologist. But yeah, I'm just working on getting my I guess you'd call it a certification, but it's not really a certification. It's just approval. So I'm trying to get approval from the state of Colorado to be a wild mushroom expert, so I can then legally sell mushrooms to restaurants in the state of Colorado. But I don't really want to sell mushrooms to restaurants. I just want the qualification to say, hey, I'm a official wild mushroom expert in the state of Colorado. I just need to get those qualifications.
Right on, man. I'm excited.
But
Hopefully
I
you
just
get it, man.
I just wrote
Without
the letter of
opportunities,
recommendation
how
for
you can
just
do
for
it.
me.
Sweet.
But
It's like you're
yeah,
saying, man. If you can't do it, then who can? You know, if
yeah,
you're not a mycologist, and what is a mycologist?
that too. In the process of signing up or trying to become a wild mushroom expert, I asked the guy from the health department, I'm like, who's a mycologist? Like, who counts? Because as far as I'm concerned, people like Paul Stamets, Alan Rockefeller, locally James Chalene, a lot of these guys, they never went to school for mycology. A lot of these doctors and these experts, they are formally trained microbiologists, or they're like yeast experts, or they're brewers, or the list goes on and on and on. Like nobody actually went to school for mycology. So who's a mycologist? Um, in my mind, a professional is somebody that's doing whatever it is professionally, and they're taking it seriously every day. A hobbyist or a citizen scientist or an amateur is somebody who's just a hobbyist. And they love it. They're an enthusiast, but they're not taking it seriously. They're not taking it. They're not intentionally going up to that level of trying to make it their career.
Yeah,
So, for all intents and purposes, I'm a mycologist, even
yeah.
though I'm
Much relates to that
self-taught.
with their because you said yourself, once you start to realize that no one knows anything, then gives you the potential to be right up there with, the best of the best, smartest of the smartest,
Exactly. So
because no one can know everything.
this process goes through the health department. So who at the health department knows more about mushrooms than I do? Nobody.
Right.
Nobody. So who better expert than me or Chris Vinci? So we're writing each other's letter of recommendation. And I'm all finished. I just need to get him to write mine. He's supposed to be finishing it
Cool.
tonight.
Sweet. Perfect, man.
Happy to do
Keep
it.
kicking ass.
And I've been thinking about this. I'm like, in the future, once I become like a certified wild mushroom expert in Colorado, then I can teach other people. I can then like, hey, I know this guy's an expert, and I can vouch for other people and continue to write letters of recommendation and help show people the path forward, because it was a rocky path trying to figure out who to talk to, where to send the information. Is this information still up to date? and
I just Googled famous mycologist, and yeah, Paul Stamets was on the list, and it does mention though he's largely self-taught.
mm-hmm.
Like you're saying, I mean, there's not many people out there that are actually trained in mycology. They
Right.
mostly self-taught.
There's only like maybe 2 or 3 that I can think of that I would actually say, yeah, no doubt in my mind, that person has the training from school. They did their thesis paper on mycology. Like that person is legit. They received the training, but like who at that school knew more than they did?
Right.
Correct.
I don't know.
100%. And that's the obvious downfall with school and education system is that it teaches smarts, not intelligence. Right. It teaches the retaining of information and not the exploration of discovering new problems and how to figure them out, or technical advancements or whatever. Right. School is just like, what can you fit in your brain and remember for the next day for the test, and the kids that are best at that get pushed to the front of the school.
Yeah.
It's kind of a disappointment because we're still like living in the Stone Age in a way.
A little bit.
All right, sweet. Oh, you want to get into the reading, man?
Yeah, sure.
We are on week, what's this, 20? 20. Yep, week 20. Perspective is a choice is the title of today's reading. And I got some cool stuff to go along with it. I'm sure the boys do as well. We got a cool story that goes along with it. There's a quote that says, "Things aren't good or bad; they just are." An unknown author. And in Eckhart Tolle's book, a new Earth, he discusses the idea that all things are connected and there are no isolated events. He implies that the mental label of good and bad are illusions created by our mind. Now, this is illustrated by the story of a wise man that won an expensive car in a lottery. His family and friends were very happy for him, and he came to celebrate. Isn't that great? They said. You're so lucky. The man smiled and said, maybe. For a few weeks, he enjoyed driving the car, and then one day, a drunken driver crashed into his new car at an intersection, and he ended up in the hospital with multiple injuries. His family and friends came to see him and said that was really unfortunate. Again, he smiled and said, maybe. While he was still in the hospital one night, there was a landslide, and his house fell into the sea. Again, his friends came the next day and said, weren't you lucky to have been here in the hospital? Again, he said, maybe. I won't suggest that I'm able to not label certain things like hunger or acts of violence, etc., as bad. However, I believe the less you can label things good or bad, the more freedom you have. A few weeks ago, I was letting a friend park his car in my garage while he was out of state, and it accidentally got towed. I wish I had a video recording of myself when I went to get it, and it wasn't there. Total shock. There were tons of obstacles, including the fact that I didn't get the car since I didn't own it, and he was out of state. Immediately, I knew I had a choice. I could either get stressed about it and label the situation as bad, or use some awesome practice in removing the good bad label. In the end, everything worked out, and the towing company even paid the bill. So it turns out that if I labeled the situation as bad or allowed myself to get stressed about it, I would have just wasted the day for nothing. And today's prompt is, do you believe perspective is a choice? And what have you experienced, or sorry, how have you experienced this in your own life? Good stuff. We talked about the story of the Chinese farmer. It's a proverb. Alan Watts is famous for talking about this. The story of maybe, because his horses run away and people are like, "Oh, it's so horrible." He's like, "Maybe." Well, or sorry, his horse ran away. Then he came back with more horses. And then as the son was breaking in the horses, he broke his leg. And they're like, "That's so horrible." Until the people came to recruit people for the army, and they didn't have recruit him because of his broken leg. So it's like you never know what situation is going to turn a different way and teach you a lesson, or something good is going to come out of something. And I really do live my life like that. I'm not perfect at it, but I practice and try to train myself to be like, maybe this is a good situation. Maybe I'm just thinking about it like a bad situation. It's like being caught in the rain.
I think it's very easy to have an expectation, like you want things to go one way, and then it doesn't.
Assumption.
You're like,
Breaking our assumptions.
this isn't what I wanted.
Yeah, man.
You might be planning a barbecue on Saturday, and then you put the coals in the grill, and a half hour later it starts raining out of nowhere. You're like, oh, yeah, I don't see a good maybe out of this.
Right.
But I think it's how we adapt that defines us. If we're out there
Yeah.
throwing a pissy fit and everything, and there's hot dogs all over the yard, and there's cussing and everything, that ain't. But if you're like,
Yeah,
hey,
man.
man, I got a George Foreman, or I got a frying pan, even whatever, I got a microwave or an air fryer, you can adapt, and you can be like, I'm not gonna let that ruin my day.
Good,
I
good
used
call.
to freak out over things that didn't go my way, and it was just like
Yeah.
that was stolen energy from me, and it's like
100%.
when you don't want something, the universe will keep giving you more of it. So it's good to get out of that mindset and just let things go and, and adapt. Be open to adapt.
Definitely. No, do you got anything, man?
Oh, yeah, I agree with what Derek was saying there. Absolutely, 100%. What I've got is short. This reminds me, like to a T, a song that's on that. I think I have it in the Mystic Journeys playlist, but it's called
Mhm.
"Good" by Akira the Dawn and Jocko Willenick.
Yeah.
Willenick.
Well, Nick.
Willenick. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Derek.
Yeah.
That guy. So anyway, the premise of the song is like he's basically like he's a business owner of some sort, and he has his guys that work for him, And every time something goes bad, he always has the same response. And that response is good. Because every time something happens, every time you face adversity, like Juicebox is saying, you have an opportunity to grow. It's another opportunity to practice. It's another opportunity to get stronger. So good. Work through it, and you'll be better off on the other side.
Yeah, man. Just keep doing your best. And I think that when you look at it in a way like the worst thing that could possibly happen is like I'm going to die doing this thing. So I'm afraid this is a bad thing that's going to happen that's going to get me killed or whatever. And you start to look at it, and I'm about to enlighten everyone, hopefully, if they don't already know this concept, but it's what Ram Dass is going to talk about, that even that is we're still part of the universe. Like nothing's created, so we're all one, and everything that happens to us is an opportunity for us, even like something horrible like going through cancer and having a like an end of life moment where you're like, this is the end. It's a beautiful thing that you can learn, and you can learn how to feel emotions and experience life in a way that most people don't get to. And that's really a privileged thing. And then, like we talked about a lot, I crave for a human heart that has both. I want to be able to sit with you and cry and be like, man, this really sucks. It's the worst thing that could happen. But also, I want to be like, you know what? There's a lot you can learn from this. If you look at it from a spiritual perspective, step outside of your human self and see what good can come out of this situation, no matter what it is. It's unconditional gratitude. Talk about this a lot. Yeah, and also say this too, life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And that's whenever it becomes an opportunity for you to, it's a playground, turns life from a landscape, like a hellscape, into a playground, like full of fun stuff you can do, whatever you want to do. And somebody that I talked about this before on the show, maybe a few times. It's like if you don't want to play kickball, then you can go swing on the swings. And if you don't like swings, you can go slide down the slide. It's like there's so much you can do, and no one's forcing you to go wherever and do anything. Instead of it being like, well, I don't want to play on the slide. It's like no one's forcing you to play on the slide. Then you can just go over there, swing on the swings, whatever it is. And psychedelics teach us that a lot too, because they teach us about ego death and about how like it separates you from your human body, your attachment to these things that we have and these ideologies that we have, into just the essence of who you are as a human being. And it teaches us that, what the answer of quote unquote life is. And obviously it's different individual for us all. But in amongst of losing your identity, you have to rediscover who you are. I mean, that's the whole point of psychedelics and having a high level psychedelic experience. Let me read a quote real fast. Get off here. Cheers, everybody. Thank y'all for being here in the chat. I have this quote here. I talk about this so much. It's a super great quote. The only reality I can possibly know in the world is the world as I perceive it at this moment, and the only reality you can know is the world as you perceive it at this moment. And the only certainty is that those perceived realities are different, and there are as many real worlds as there are people. It just speaks to what the story was talking about. Perspective is a choice, depending on where you're standing. You have to be willing to put yourself in other people's shoes. That's a great example. Ron Dawson's going to talk about it in this video, the clip that I have about opening your heart to people, like having compassion for people. It's kind of the same concept. Let me read a little bit of a poem here from Ram Dass. When you look back at your own life, you see that with the suffering you went through, you would have avoided it each time if you possibly could. Yet when you look at the depths of your character now, and the fact that you're sitting here doing this work, you see it's all a product of those experiences. Are those experiences part of what created the depth of your inner being? I look back over the times when I was suffering miserably. I certainly wouldn't lay it on myself if I had a choice, but it happened. It was part of the working out of my life plan. And now, when I look back in perspective, I see the power of those experiences. I see how that they deepened something in me that was necessary for the moment. And that's Ram Dass. and kind of speaks to adversity. It's a word that I love because it's the things that make us tough, but it's sometimes the things that we won't force ourselves to do, like to exercise, to go outside in nature. It's always more fun to like be comfortable and be like inside and be warm or cool or fed or all these things instead of struggling because we won't force ourselves to do it. But yet, that's what makes life more enjoyable. It's like finding the beauty in the pain. Um, well, it's a lot about Taoism. The way it's because things are opposites in Taoism. They're related. Everything's related and correlated. So these bad things are not bad. You're labeling them as a negative thing, but in every bad thing, there's something good, and every good thing, there's something bad. It's the way to look at life in like a really holistic kind of view. I have one more poem here. Actually, I have two more poems, but we'll separate them out a little bit. This is just a short poem here. It's from a gentleman called Kabir. It's called "What is the Beloved?" Since the day when I met with my Lord, there has been no end to support our love. I see with eyes open and smile and behold his beauty. Everywhere I utter his name, it reminds me of him. When I do, it becomes his worship. Everywhere I go, I move around him. All I achieve is his service. Whether I rise or sit down, I can never forget him. The rhythm of his music beats in my ears. And when you really look for me, you will see me instantly. You will find me in the tiniest house of time. And it's the whole show. Like this is the whole theme of this show is waking up, seeing life for the beauty in things and finding that God does exist, but you have to open your eyes to see him, and really you have to close your eyes to see him in that way. You have to be able to like look at nature, but not like look at it, because looking at it isn't going to do it. But you have to like use your mind to be able to go inside and think about, how is this teaching me a lesson? The tree, it's a stupid thing like a tree, but yet it has so much it can teach you. A mushroom, it's just a mushroom, but yet you can learn about, mycology teaches us things like patience and respect and timing, on and on and on, if you allow it to. And that's how, yeah, 100%. And that's how like the universe speaks to us. God, if you will, tries to communicate to us through these things like music or hobbies or whatever we like to do in life, our passions, the things that we love the most, like, talking to our friends and family or whatever. Right? And here's a quote here from Alan Watts. Through our eyes, the universe is perceiving itself. Through our ears, the universe is listening to its harmonies. We are the witnesses through which the universe becomes conscious of its glory and of its magnificence. So again, we're like the universe experiencing itself, looking in on itself. Every time that you have an experience with people, this is why they say like you're holding a mirror up to somebody, because you're the universe watching itself from a different perspective. It's what perspective is all about. I talk about this concept of the 5 P's: peace, positivity, perspective, and purpose, because perspectives are really super important one to be able to have empathy and kindness and love and compassion. Without it, you can't, because you don't know what it's like to be someone else, because you never tried to like put yourself in their shoes and go through what they've been through, learn what they've learned.
Going back to the playground, though, I think when we learn as children, like, um, a lot of children aren't taught patience, and they carry that through their lives. If you, I bringing my kids to the playground, I remember this, but, and then seeing my grandchildren at the playground, it's like the kids that are happiest at the playgrounds are the ones that are running around and going from, like you're saying, the slide to the swings or whatever. If there's a line at the slide, they don't stand there and fold their arms and stomp their feet waiting in line. They turn around and they run to the next thing that's going to make them happy. They don't say, I just want to do the slide and all these other kids want to do the slide and now I can't do the slide. For the ones that adapt, and they adapt quickly, they run up to the slide, they see this 4 kids standing there and they're not moving or whatever, because one of them's stuck on the slide or trying to climb up it or whatever. So then they
Yeah,
just run and do something else and they have fun, and that's
definitely.
So, but to stand there and get all upset is really stealing their time. And, like, I don't know if any of the parents are telling them, like, hey, go do something else. Sometimes they are, they'll walk up there and tell them, but I think it's an early lesson for people, children to be,
Yeah, man.
learning to adapt and have
Living in
fun.
the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I just saw somebody flick by and say that they didn't get a notification. I think the people have been having problems with that. What we suggest people to do is to unsubscribe and resubscribe. And if that doesn't work, try logging out of your YouTube account and then logging back in and then redoing the same process. If that doesn't work, just let us know and we'll see. If, so far in the past, this has worked whenever we had the same issue before. So,
Or we could send a member from the A team to your house to knock on your door and let you know we're going live.
we could do that too.
Yeah.
It's going to cost, but we can do it. But yeah, Derek, I 100%. I like you. I like how you're extending on that analogy 100% because there's some things that people use. They grow up and they use the things that they had when they were little kids. They lose them because they're defense mechanisms, right? They keep them safe whenever they start to grow up and become teenagers and young adults. But then we cling to those things and we take them with us into our adulthood, and it's hard to put them down.
Yeah.
Like the things about getting aggravated whenever being patient, like when somebody's on something that we want to be on or doing something we want to do. Yeah, it's hard. It's childish behaviors, emotional immaturity, really at its finest. Yep.
Speaking of
I have
perspective, since it's the theme today, Mr. Phillips just said something about something over here on my wall. I want to point it out. Let's see here. Pull up his message. He said, "Nerdy, I never noticed the creepy ass John Wayne Gacy clown picture on your wall." So, from your perspective, that's a creepy ass painting. From my perspective, it is a very, very endearing picture of a very, very funny clown that I actually thoroughly enjoy. His name is Puddle's Pity Party. He never talks, he only sings. And he sings famous songs. And it's like, and when he sings like he's an actual opera singer and he does so good. But like I see this picture and the expression on his face is just priceless to me. I just love it. It makes me smile. It's just got that like that goofy like what just happened look on his face. Love it. I love it. I don't know. I don't hate clowns like most people do. There's a couple clowns that I do enjoy, like Puddle's Pity Party.
He does covers of them too, of songs.
Yeah, he does. That's what he does. He does covers.
Is that all he does? I thought he wrote his own music too.
I don't think he does his own songs. Like during his show, he'll have like a robot speaking for him and stuff. He does
Cool.
live. He's been doing concerts with Weird Al, not like these past few years.
It makes sense. Complete sense, dude.
Yeah, he was on. Oh God! Now that is a creepy ass clown.
Yeah.
What was he from? Natural Born Killer?
Rob Zombie.
Huh?
Rob Zombie movies, the Halloween and the
What's that
Devil's
called?
Rejects.
What's that movie?
Devil's Rejects.
Devil's Rejects. That's it. Yep.
And I think he was in the Halloween too, maybe. No, Devil's Rejects. Yeah.
I think they made a sequel of it too. But yeah, I know that actor. He loved playing that creepy clown.
Cheers, everyone. Let's see. We got a couple new people in the chat. A couple regulars: Kim, Mella, Joe, Mike. What's up, everybody? Sup? Ray.
Anyone new here, welcome. YouTube has been a little unkind to us. They're not really letting other people, their algorithms kind of shut us down, so they're not letting new people swing in and see what we're about. So it's kind of us just trying to spread the word. But, just like HB was saying earlier with the notifications, they're not even, I'm subscribed and everything. I don't get HB's notifications or on my other phone, it doesn't tell me that we went live. So it's like,
I got the notification like 10 minutes in.
really,
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird.
I'm not getting any. None.
But yeah, you guys stick around and we'll be doing a giveaway here in a bit. Nerdy, are you doing a can? I meant to ask you that earlier.
I didn't. I'm gonna start again, just not today. I wasn't prepared. Next
Okay, I
week
got
I
you
will.
covered.
I definitely will next week because I have a few
Stick
of these
around,
things
guys.
here from you that I need to give away, and I can add some of my
Yeah.
stuff to it, and then
I got some.
we'll
cool.
start doing the can again. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just
Sweet.
wasn't. I was busy today.
But clowns, let me talk about clowns for another second, please. I think that clowns, they used to be popular. But when I
Yeah.
was a kid,
Yeah.
there was Bozo the Clown, and they were on TV and everything. And then recently, I watched that Poltergeist movie, the first one. It was 1982, and then that clown in that movie was kind of a scare thing. It was a frightener in the movie. And I don't know. After that, maybe is when people were like, "Nah, no, get the clown out of here." You know, once it appeared in like a horror movie, you know what I mean? And there might have been other movies before that, but that first Poltergeist was a really popular movie, and that might have done it.
This is the giveaway right here. I got some
We
other
still
stuff too.
Ronald McDonald. I mean, they had the statue of
Yeah.
his big clown in the stores. Now McDonald's looks like I don't know, a county building.
Gentrified.
Yeah, it's awful looking, isn't it? I mean, it was a fun place when we were kids. They had all the characters and stuff. and the
McDonald's
footprint.
lost its soul.
Yeah, it's awful. Nice.
Yeah, but I got a
It's
10-pack of supplements to give away.
Oh, that's for
Sweet.
you.
Yeah. 10-pack of what is these? SY.
Right,
That's what is
Wow.
I'll be right back. I have
Sure.
something to share just because we're talking about clowns. And
Appreciate you, big dog.
I'm talking about stuff on my wall and my shelf and stuff. So I'll be just one moment.
Okay.
HP, what's your
Um,
feeling on clowns?
Come again?
What's your feeling on clowns? You like them or no?
I mean, I don't really care either way. I used to go to the circus a couple times whenever I was a kid. I mean, I've been probably like maybe 2 or 3 times when I was younger. I always had a good time at the Barnum Bailey. It was fun. I know that's like ethical shit involved with that kind of stuff, but like as a kid, I did have fun. It was cool.
Yeah.
Watch people get shot out of cannons, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know how I've got an obsession with getting my ducks in a row.
Mm-hmm. You got it, clown.
I got Pennywise.
Oh,
But yeah,
Hold on.
I
he's
love
coming
that.
back with a red
concept.
nose.
Awesome.
That would have been lit up if he come back in like a whole clown outfit, with wig and nose and all.
That would have a good move. Oh man.
Let me read another poem here. I got one more thing to read, and then I got a couple clips.
Oh my god. Is it like a
That's what it looks like. He's laughing like this.
I love it. I love it. That's just pure joy. I love that. Watch.
She said Trump duck. Oh my god, dude, that's so crazy. That is wild. He said Trump duck. Trump in whiteface.
Oh, I get it now. Okay.
Yeah, because of his hair, dude. Yes, sir. Yeah. All right, let me read this real fast. It says, it's a poem here. Please call me by my true names. You guys may have heard Ram Dass speak about this poem, and you heard part of it. I'm going to read the full thing here. Don't say that I will depart tomorrow. Even today, I'm still arriving. Look deeply. Every second I'm arriving to be a bud on a spring branch, to be a tiny bird with still fragile wings, learning to sing in my new nest, to be a caterpillar in the heart of a flower, to be a jewel hiding hiding itself in a stone. I still arrive in order to laugh and to cry, to fear and to hope. The rhythm of my heart is the birth and the death of it all, the birth and the death of all that is alive. I'm a mayfly metamorphosizing on the surface of a river. I'm a bird that swoops down to swallow the mayfly. I'm a frog that swims happily in a clear pond of water. I'm a grass snake that sits silently, feeds itself on the frog. I'm a child in Uganda, all skin and bones, my legs as thin as bamboo sticks, and I am the arms merchant swinging deadly weapons to Uganda. I am the 12-year-old girl refugee on a small boat who throws herself into the ocean after being raped by a sea pirate. I am also the pirate, my heart yet capable of seeing love, or seeing and loving. I am a member of the Polybur- Polyburo, Politburo, I don't know if I'm saying that right, with plenty of power in my hands, and I'm the man who has to pay his debt of blood to my people, dying slowly in a forced labor camp. My joy is like a spring, so warm, it makes flowers bloom all over the earth, and my pain is like a river of tears, so vast it fills 4 oceans. Please call me by my true names, so I can hear all my cries and all my laughter at once, so I can see that my joy and my pain are one. Please call me by my true names, so I can wake up and the door of my heart can be left open, the door of compassion.
Yeah.
And then on that, let me play this Ram Dass clip for you guys. This is what he talked about in this clip that I'm about to play. So instead of playing a bunch of clips, I just made a couple right here for us.
You say, it's perfect. My guru in India used to say to me, Ram Dass, don't you see it's all perfect? I'd say, perfect? Perfect? What about Bangladesh? What about Africa? What about tyranny? What about violence? What about greed? He'd say, don't you see it's all perfect? Can't you step back for a moment from your humanity to see the way of things? Can't you see the way it's all lawfully unfolding? The question is, have you the courage to see what you're seeing? Or does it seem to take away your humanity? Because when you look and you say, it's all perfect, the problem is it's so impersonal. Somebody falls down in front of you and you say, karma. See, there's no warmth to it. But if you come down into your human heart, the pain is unbearable. From the amount of suffering outside, but it protects our separateness from our heart, which would give away our separateness. It would give away everything. Give away everything. And so the interesting question is, how do you keep your heart open in hell? And what does it mean to be in love with the world? And what does it mean in action? What do you do? The answer lies again in the statement, at least the answer that I have found thus far, that there's nowhere to stand. That if you stand only in your humanity, it's unbearable. If you stand in the area of perfection, it's impersonal. If you get them both going at once, it is the root of what I understand true compassion to be about. I work with AIDS patients now. I do a lot of work with AIDS patients. And a fellow calls me and he just found he has AIDS. And he was a law student and all of his plans have now gone awry and his whole life has changed. And he's frightened. And my heart, my human heart, cries with him. And so he hears there's a fellow human heart that's empathizing with him. At the same moment, there's another part of me that's just looking at the universe as it is and saying, yes, and this too, and this too. He has a new curriculum now.
Yep.
This is heavy work for his soul. He's going to do new work in terms.
Yep. Very well said. No one can do it like Ram Dass.
We talked about that, like, we can sympathize and empathize with people, but don't ruminate. Don't sit there and get too involved with it and have it, become your problem too. Like,
Well said.
Yeah, man. Stand in your humanity and in your higher self as well. Yep. It's perspective.
and you don't want to seem heartless, nothing, but you like trying to tell someone, yeah. I mean, you being upset about it ain't gonna change it. Whatever the
Yep.
certain, you know what I mean. Uh, so
And you said it. Sometimes the life lesson will keep coming back and teaching you, and that's what some things are trying to teach you is to find the beauty in the pain. Yep, I want to be everything. I want to be the person that shows love to somebody. and I want to be the person receiving the love. I want to be able to experience all things, and I want to be able to experience. Even though I'm not a murderer and a rapist, I can still look at that from outside of myself as a human being. Because as a human being, I'm going to be like, that's horrible, like that's demonic, it's bad, it's evil. And
I
just
think
like we talk about in this book, maybe I can label those things as that, but to start labeling everything as good and bad starts to toss them in the same categories. It's not everything is black and white.
what the poem was more getting at was the fact that, like, with different life situations and different choices, you could have been in that. That could have been you.
Yes, 100%, brother.
Any one of us could have ended up in a completely different person, even with different situations and things happening to us and different choices.
And in a different life, you probably are them.
Yeah, in a different dimension, I probably am. Exactly.
Maybe. Who knows? That's what I got to talk about. It's like, who do we think that we can be somebody else and do better job at them? Like being them than them. They're them. They're themselves. Like, don't you think they figure out what works best for them, even if it's not good to you? You know, like you're you. You can't even, like half of us can't even figure ourselves out, man. More than half of us, 90% of us can't even figure ourselves out. So how do we think we can look at somebody else and be like judge them, look down on them, and say you need to be doing this or you should be doing that? It's like too arrogant, man. Too egotistical.
Be skeptical and learn to listen. Don't trust anyone.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely, man. That's what I'm talking about.
If someone's talking to me and they're like kind of looking for advice or whatever, I'm not going to say you should do this or do that. If they're looking for um, that kind of answer, I would say, if it were me, I might do this, but I'm not in that situation or whatever. But they're just looking for someone else's perspective, and a lot of times, you know, people will say, well, if I were you, I would blah 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 blah. And well, you're not me. So, but I think it's safer to say, if it were me, this is what I would do.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Nothing changes.
Ideally,
Nothing changes.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to fuck 1,000 times or 10,000 times before you finally get it. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
for now. For that kind of
say,
stuff.
if you go and you say, if I were you, I'd do blah blah blah, then it blows up in their face. Then they're like, well, freaking Derek told me to do this. So, but I
And
think
they're
it
not
makes
you.
them think more like, is Derek giving me good advice or whatever? If he says
Yeah.
if it were me, not if I were you. If I were you, that's very judgy sounded.
Yeah.
And I think that's not what people are looking for when they're talking to you about a problem or something that they're going
Well
through.
said, man. I was thinking about this today. That kind of relates to that. I like to get deep. I like to have deep conversations and see how far an idea or a topic can really go. But sometimes we need to stop paying attention to like the unknown depths and pay attention to the unknown shallows because we can look at things that are in front of us. And just like I said, like things are like trees that have so much to teach us, or like music or art, but yet we just bypass them every day, don't give them our chance. And then we wonder why we don't have things that we're passionate about or hobbies or things that keep us like fueled in life, keep us like fire going underneath us like we're kids again. It's because we're not giving those things a chance. It's not like the things like the answer of life or finding out, the next greatest revolution. Sometimes it's just talking and having a conversation with your friend and,
Yeah.
doing simple things like finding a hobby or something like that. Those are the beauties in life. It's like the unknown shallows, the things that aren't way out there, but they're just like right here in front of you. All you have to do is just like swim down and grab them.
It's all our first time here, so I mean, we're learning.
We know.
Hey, some people are old souls,
We
some
know.
people are a little wiser, but
Yeah.
our first time around.
Yeah, we're all just doing our best, man. That's all we can do. Cheers. You guys, I'm gonna go grab a dice and then we're gonna do 1 through 20. Give me just a sec. You guys can go ahead. 1 through 20. Cheers. Sammy, what's up? David. Thanks, guys. Everybody lurking in that chat as well.
Speaking of dice, the last time well, not the last time. When I saw Ed Lubo at the mycology microscopy class, I thought it was really, really funny that he had a little tackle box with all of his little equipment and stuff in it. And in the top of his tackle box, he had a D100. And I'm like, oh my God, a nerd after my own heart. A D100 is, for those of you that don't know, it's a 100-sided dice.
Yeah.
It's like a
No three
ball.
numbers, just
Yeah.
once at a time,
It's
please,
like
if
a
you don't
ball.
mind. Just one number at a time, if you don't mind. This is what I'm giving away. It's a 10-pack of the SYZYGY. Kind of updated the labels on it to make it look a little nicer for you guys. Everything's in color now. A little more upgraded. It says for religious purposes only, so you guys can, use it and practice it as natural sacrament. So you either come looking like this or like this, either way. And I got some stickers, Mystic Journeys, got an HB logo, some extra cards. There's a card in here for the Zeta drink. I'll show you guys a picture of this in a minute. Some cool stickers I made of the logo, HB logo, the Zeta logo sticker. Yep, and it's in pack. I do not see the number yet. I do not see it yet. You guys can keep guessing. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
You mean the answer is not
Don't spam the
alternator?
chat, but you know what I'm saying. Like, breathe and then guess again. Sorry, Nerdy, what'd you say?
You mean the answer is not alternator? I think Mr. Phillips got pretty close with that one.
No.
Mud flap.
No. Let's see that logo, HB. You want to see the logo? Here, there's two different ones.
Bruce. Yeah, got Bruce.
So this is my logo. Yeah, I should pull up a better picture. Hold on a second.
My kayak is shot Bruce.
Nice color.
Yeah. The fish is
So this is the logo for my company. And then this is my logo for my mushroom drink coming out soon, May 1st. Let me pull that up real fast. I appreciate everybody's support. Everybody get excited about it. If I can hear all everybody's voice, and I'm excited too, man. So May 1st, we're gonna start getting these things out. Yeah. If everybody has a High Mystic membership, then we are going to be sending you out samples of these. So every month, we're going to come out with a new flavor. Yeah. Starting off, this is going to be the Egyptian tea with the active ingredients of chocolate and Blue Lotus as well. Blue Lotus, I forgot to mention that's another thing part of the giveaway. But everybody will. Oops.
Sorry, I messed that up. I was trying to uncover the picture there. There you
go. Blue Lotus is a thing that we're going to start offering as a sacrament. I have some information on it. We may get to it here in a minute. If not, we might make an episode out of it one day. It's a lot about, just talks about the history of its entheogen use. And I'll show you guys here real quick what a flower looks like. Dried anyway. So Egyptian blue lotus flower, we're going to start offering this sacrament. So whoever guesses the number, if they haven't already guessed it already, it's going to be a blue lotus flower joint as well. It's just blue lotus flower inside of it. So it's no drugs, no cannabis or anything like that.
So have you, I think you posted a picture earlier. Did you smoke one of them rolls with the blue lotus yet?
I still don't see the number yet. Yeah, I just tried one earlier. Actually, I haven't even finished it yet. It's nice. It has a nice flavor to me. I like it a lot. It's really whenever you combine it with mushrooms is the thing. So that was what inspired me to come up with this Egyptian tea that I made. Because without getting too nerdy, there's 3 different chemicals inside of chocolate: theobromine, phenylethylamine, or whatever it's called, and then anandamine. So anandamine. I think truffles actually contain anandamine, but most things don't actually contain it. they just raise your levels of an enemy. This is the same thing that attaches to your CB2 receptors with cannabis. So it's kind of the same brother sister thing. There are tons of herbs like turmeric and echinacea root, maca root, stuff like that that I've combined into my tea to make it increase these effects. So it has all the activating components of chocolate, but it doesn't have the flavor of chocolate. So it'll make your drink stronger, and the Blue Lotus as well is it'll like synergize with it and should be a great effect for everybody. I hope you guys just let me know how you like it. I think it's super great. So
we've got a few more guesses here. Let's see.
It's not 7.
There it is. Mike got it. It's number
Mike?
16.
Congrats,
Yeah.
Mike Barball, dude. That's
Let me
awesome.
flip the camera in so you can see it. See, there's no trickery here. Oh, right here.
That's really cool, Mr. Phillips. Did you use that? Did you use like an ice cube tray or something? Or I'm just wondering how you did it to freeze it.
You flipped it. You switched it right before you changed the camera. You just I've seen those tricks before.
I let the universe do its work, man. I don't need to control it. The universe provides to whoever it needs to go to. Congratulations, Mike. We got you already on the address, so just enjoy. There's a tag in here for the new upcoming drink. So you guys stay tuned. I'm excited for this.
I'm glad Mike won. That's good.
Amazing. Cool.
Yeah, here's a picture of the
Hey, dude,
Yeah,
I like
that's
those
great,
rocks. Those rocks in your pictures are top notch.
welcome to Colorado, baby.
Yeah,
Welcome
yeah.
to Colorado. I thought it would make a nice little touch, like a little organic kind of vibe to it. Yeah. One more picture here. It's kind of late in the show, so I think we'll save the Blue Lotus talk for our maybe Friday's episode or something. But I have tons of like information and stories and stuff on Blue Lotus and what it is and how it works and who's kind of involved with it and stuff. But it's been used since Egyptian times, so it's associated with Ra, the sun god, and a few other people. We're going to talk about this later.
Lower safe.
These are different ways that you can use it. So we're offering it in a smokable form. If it's something that people like, maybe we can do a drinkable form. It's already coming in a tea. So we obviously won't be doing it with alcohol. So yeah, maybe we'll just do regular straight up flowers for you guys if you really like it. It'd be a nice addition to the sacrament table. So it's very mild. I wouldn't expect. Yeah, 100%. Let me look up the actual name of it because the name is very similar to a word you're probably familiar with. It's called Nymphea caerulea. Caerulea, I think.
That's
But yeah, that's the reason why it's called Nymphea, because it's used a lot in sexual ceremonies for Egyptian people. And I was just watching a documentary on this earlier. It's super interesting. You guys should check it out on YouTube. It talks about the history of Blue Lotus. But in the video, they were talking about how they don't just portray people having sex on the walls. It's like they use innuendos to try to, express what the people were doing, because it was like a very sacred thing, and kind of something to be held like they used it like it had power. Like it's a dangerous thing to have sex because you can do dangerous things with it. But also it's like part of being humans. The whole we were just talking about it, the balance of it all. I'd like to try the Lotus tea. Yeah, sweet man. Yeah, message me on Instagram, Headbuster, all lowercase, 290. And tomorrow I'm gonna get a page put up with all the information about the tea. I'm gonna kind of just like get my shtick on what my inspiration was and everything behind it. Um, is it something you have to take all the time in order for it to work? Probably medicinally, but the effects are pretty immediately once you ingest it. Two active chemicals inside of it. They're psychoactive. Um, yeah, so the blue lotus is a sacred psychoactive lily of the Nile, symbolizes life, rebirth, and the creation of ancient Egyptians. Um, Often linked directly to the sun god Ra and used in ceremonies for its psychedelic effects, used extensively in Egyptian art and the Book of the Dead. This plant was an integral part of society. Blah blah blah. But the two active ingredients, it contains two primary alkaloids responsible for its effect. It's called apomorphine, a non-selective dopamine antagonist that induces feelings of happiness and euphoria, and nuciferine, an alkaloid that acts as a calming agent and may have antipsychotic properties. Together, these compounds can cause a range of effects, including mild sedation, altered perception, visual hallucinations at higher doses, and increased libido. And again, it's pretty mild. I wouldn't expect anything crazy out of it. But I would just, treat it like a sacrament and have respect for it and don't just use it to get high, use it to, experience the plant medicine and try to get back into our roots. You know me, I'm like always trying to touch back, touch back, touch back. Like we're always going forward and that's what we should be doing. But we can always go back, look back and be like, wow, these guys were using this as a sacrament and they had it all together. We know a little bit about Egyptians, or maybe you guys do, about Egyptians mixing mushrooms with chocolate because they learned that these effects together cause a synergistic effect. So I wanted to be able to bring that to a tea. And my inspiration behind this really, besides like I'm a tea guy and I'm like mushrooms and it kind of just makes sense, is that I want to be able to put a foot in the market of alcohol because it's so many people like us that might not want to sit around and get drunk, but we might want to sit around and have a couple of drinks of mushroom. Like, why not? Two or three drinks, a quarter gram a piece, you're rocking and rolling. So it's kind of, I think it's more, makes it more, socially acceptable for people just to, do their thing. So we're not shoving alcohol in everybody's mouth because the mushrooms, they can be dangerous and they should be respected, but ingesting them won't kill you where alcohol it will. And it's doing it all the time to so many people because it's an addictive nature and on and on and on. So it's like, I'm trying to put a kink in the market and I want to be able to do something different. And, you can do the same thing with cannabis. You could take cannabis and make it into a drink, but it's like cannabis, we smoke cannabis. So it's like, that's the way I prefer to use my sacrament of cannabis. And that's the way I continue to use it. So my mushrooms, I'm always going to be ingesting them. So I might as well ingest them the best way possible with the most synergistic effects, with the best flavor, with the guarantee that every time I get this drink, it's going to be the same ratio, the same effect every single time. So yeah, I'm trying to perfect that. Put a lot of hard work in this. I'm really proud of it.
It's nice having more
alternatives.
It's nice having more alternatives to alcohol.
Exactly right, man. So yeah, so maybe if somebody who's like really sensitive to cannabis, this is a perfect thing for you to try to use it in a ceremonial way because it's going to be way more mild than cannabis. It's going to be way more for, sleeping and dreaming. They call it the dreamer because it enhances lucid dreams. So it's going to be really super sedative at night to help you get ease into sleep and get a full rest, a full REM sleep at night. Yeah, I'm not an expert, but I'm learning. Appreciate you though. It's the Dunning-Kruger effect. I mean, I'm just starting to learn so I can see how much is out there that I don't know.
Yep. The more I learn, the more I realize I don't know.
Yeah. And so I may have originally said on the show that they were going to be offered in maybe a 2.5 and a gram, but I've decided after experimenting with doses that I'm not going to offer them in a gram. I'm only going to offer them in a 2.5 gram dose because that I feel like is a perfect sweet spot because it's not too strong where somebody drank one that they would be out of control, but it's strong enough where people could have maybe 2 or 3 or 4 of them and, get to the experience that they're looking for. And me, the way I encourage dosing is exactly that way. That you have a drink of a quarter gram. You're drinking it. Takes you maybe 30 minutes to drink it. You open up another one. Takes you maybe another 30 minutes. You're like dosing like this. So it's the way that I like to encourage people to dose. So like this will push people in that direction. Like, hey, maybe this is the experience that you like. And it's not going to be for everyone. The flavor is not going to be for everyone. The idea is not going to be for everyone. Like, but I think that a lot of people will relate to it and be like, because if somebody was doing, this is what I'd like to do it for. Because if somebody else was doing it, I'd be like, wow, that's really cool. How do I get one? I want to know about this. Like, what did you do? So I want to do that for somebody else. Why not just do it yourself? If not us, who? Not now, then when? May 1st. Cheers. Yeah. Nerdy, I'm gonna bring you some. Derek, I almost ship you some out too as well, buddy.
I'm looking forward to it. I'll be seeing you on Sunday.
Sweet guys. Sweet man. Can't wait.
I'm still have not written my presentation, and it's on Friday and Sunday. But one day is all I need. I'll get it all out there because I've already got like other resources that I've created for iNaturalist that explains like what why I love it so much and stuff. But it's basically I'm just teaching people how to forage for science and how to use iNaturalist and how to submit for DNA sequencing for free. It's gonna be a good weekend.
HB, have you thought of maybe offering a concentrate so that people can use a different liquid? You know what I mean? Like if someone want to add it to a different juice or something like that.
Yeah, I've thought about making it into a tincture. It's kind of my next step because the flavor of the mushroom tincture is pretty vile. So I'm hoping I can cover it up with these herbs, and then it will still have the same synergistic effect, but in a compact punch. Also, another thing that I'm thinking about adding is mushrooms with no psilocybin. They're going to be maybe a lion's mane cordyceps kind of blend. I'm not sure. I haven't even experimented with it yet. It's just an idea. So things like that, nootropic drinks. Yeah, I'm excited about doing something, just basic for people who want to be healthy. These drinks only have 25 grams of sugar, which is 50% of a daily value of sugar, but it's way less sugar than a lot of drinks. And I had to make a sweet spot to where it's sweet enough where it can preserve the drink and make it shelf stable, but not too sweet where people are going to drink 2 or 3 and get stomach ache. Also, this drink in particular, it has ginger in the drink. So it's one of the ingredients. Yeah. And I don't want to give everybody a secret recipe, but yeah, it has things like I mentioned, like macaroon and stuff like that. Yeah. So you got the research, it's really, you could do the same thing. And I encourage people to do the same thing. Yeah, you heard what I said. It's the 3 active ingredients in chocolate. Look them up and see how you can incorporate them into a drink and do it your own way. I encourage it. Well, cheers again, Mike. Congratulations on the win. I'm going to send you one of these Blue Lotus joints and let you try it out, man. See what you think. When you got a 10-pack of supplements coming your way too, buddy.
All right.
Anybody needs anything else, reach out to us, mysticjourneyschurch.org. Sign up, become a member if you haven't already. It's free to sign up. You can also join our membership program, and you can go online and it'll explain all the different membership levels that we have. Miss anything here, boys?
I don't think so. I think we just play the outro.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Say on Monday we were discussing the Rocky Mountain Mush Fest, and Kim's here. So did we figure out the date correctly?
It is
16th
July
through the 19th.
16th to 19th.
Okay. All right. So if anybody's interested in that, reach out to Kim.
And my daughter is creating the art for the T-shirt, and I'll be having that out hopefully within a week. If she doesn't want to redo the mushroom again, we'll see. She's a
okay. Sweet. You guys make sure to go to our link tree in here on YouTube, and you can get all of our socials, Discord, stuff like that. Make sure to watch at the end of the video here. We're going to have a little bit of a disclaimer, and it talks about the agreements, what we all stand for. Make sure you guys are practicing, and be safe out there, you guys. And we'll see you guys on tomorrow's episode for Riffin. Bye, everyone. Have a great night. We're going to be doing Van Halen tomorrow, by the way. Sweet. Bye, everyone.